Welcome back to another cooking thing. This time we're actually going to be making our own version of pork tocino. Now actually tocino is a Spanish word that's been adopted into the Philippines. Tocino in Spanish is a word for bacon, but in the Philippines tocino is cured pork. So they would make this mix. I've got a bone here. They would make this mix and they would let the pork sit in it a few days to marinate or cure in this mix. We are not going to follow the traditional recipe. The traditional recipe has pineapple juice in it. We're not going to use pineapple juice, we're going to use apple juice. And we're going to let it cure naturally. It's quite cool here at the moment, so we're going to let it cool naturally rather than sitting in the fridge cooling. And I'm just slicing this up, trying to avoid this bone. I actually didn't know this had a bone in it when I got it out. So that's the challenge that I'm now facing, is deboning the pork nicely on camera without making myself look really bad. Anyhow, there's another bone. There is the other bone. Yep. Alright, so let's just work around this other bone and use this side. Here we go. Okay. So we cut them into slithers like this so that the mix can soak up into them. And also originally traditionally in tocino mix in the Philippines, they add colour, a reddish colour to it, or to make it red. We're not going to bother with that here today. I don't think making it red does anything rather than make it look good. It doesn't affect the taste. So there's our pork cut. This is what I'm going to use as my curing dish. So I'm just going to spread the pork out here on the bottom. Now tocino is very sweet, so it involves a lot of sugar, pineapple juice, some soy sauce. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be reducing a bit of the sugar content, and we're going to use honey to substitute for some sugar. So we're actually only going to have half the amount of sugar, and I'm using a mixture of red and white sugar. So there's 2 teaspoons of, it's just red and white sugar that I've mixed together. Give it a little bit of taste. I'm going to melt that down with some bit of hot water. So all this eventually has to cover all my meat. So using the hot water to mix the sugar serves 2 purposes. It allows my spoon over here. It allows my sugar to dissolve and adds the liquid that's going to cover this mixture and let it cure. This will sit outside of the fridge, but this will sit for 2 to 3 days, depending how hungry I am. But probably at least 2 days, 2 to 3 days. It sits outside the fridge, and then it gets cooked like normal. So that's our brown sugar, or brown and white sugar. We're going to put in 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. So our soy sauce will actually give our meat a brownish colour. Maybe 2.5. You know, good thing about the way I cook is nothing is ever actually perfect. It's just sort of, yeah, that looks okay. Oh yeah, that feels okay. Or if you taste it later, yeah, that tastes okay. So, you know, you've got to eat it. And Oh, so instead of having a cup of pineapple juice, so the recipe called for 1 cup of pineapple juice, but I'm using unsweetened apple juice here. So it's filtered, but it's unsweetened apple juice. So we have apple juice, sugar, soy sauce, and I'm going to put in two decent sized spoons of honey. Just off camera here, I'm actually putting the honey into a bowl. Then want to use some hot water to try and melt the honey out. And the honey is quite thick. So, there goes. Spoon. Scoop the honey out. And like everything, it's just rough and ready. So, yep, there's the honey, soy sauce, apple juice instead of pineapple juice, sugar, and my pork. Alright, so I'm going to let that sit for a good couple of days and let all that soak into the pork. And after that's soaked into the pork, I'm going to come back and fry it up. So this is our version of Tocino. So that's in its settling tray. I'm going to cover that now, put it aside for a couple of days, and I'll come back and let you know how. Okay, so we're back here again. It's been going for a couple of days. I could have, well, don't half. Could have left it for a little bit longer, but I just want to see how it goes. It's the first time I've tried it with sugar and honey. It's Tocino with Australian variation. Not using pineapple juice. We're not using the flavouring. We're not using the colouring. We're using apple juice. We're using mixed brown and white sugar. Actually, nowadays you can just go and buy packets of Tocino mix from the store. However, the difference with Tocino mix is it contains a lot of artificial colorings and artificial flavorings. What I didn't add to the original mix when I was letting it marinate was any salt or pepper or garlic or anything like that. Tocino's meant to have garlic in it. So now that we're about to cook it, and it's warming up the fry pan here to start cooking. Now that we're about to cook it, I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper and mix my bit of juice in. I've got about a teaspoon of salt and about a teaspoon of pepper. More than enough. Mix it in with some of this marinade juice, some of this seasoning or curing, some of this curing juice that has been sitting in for the last day or 2 days and a bit. So I'll let it sit in there, and we'll add that to the fry pan when we put it in. What I'm going to do now, and I have washed my hands, so I'm going to pull out all the bits of pork. You can see it has taken up the colour of the soy sauce, so the pork has absorbed the soy sauce colour over the last day and a bit. So I'm pulling all the pork out now that I'm going to be frying up. I'm going to save this this curing juice, and I'm going to add some pineapple to it and put some more pork in it, and I'm going to cook some with pineapple juice added to what I've got originally, and see if that makes it taste any better or any different. I'm not sure if it will, but just a little experiment. Anyhow, this is an Australian version of Tocino because we don't have pineapple. We have soy sauce. We don't have tomato sauce in it. But yeah, save that. So I'm gonna add a bit of crushed garlic that I've just added to the salt and pepper and the Tocino juice here. Tocino juice, not casino. Tocino juice. Put that in my fry pan. Put some oil in there. Just waiting for that to heat up a little bit. Starting to get warm now. Break up this garlic a bit more. I only put, I should have put a bit more garlic in, but I only put a little bit of garlic because I didn't want the garlic to take away from the sweet taste. So, same with the salt. I didn't want the salt to take away from the sweet taste. That you can see that's starting to boil now. So I'm going to start to line my pork in here and let it cook away. And remember, Tocino is bacon, or Spanish for bacon, or a Spanish word for bacon has been adopted into the Philippines, and so that's why it's been cut thin to give it the bacony thickness, and also why the pink or the red colouring is traditionally added to Tocino to make it look a little bit more like a bacony type thing. And the sweetness of traditional Tocino does have that sweet bacon, like a Canadian bacon, like a maple bacon actually, is its taste. So this is definitely not Canadian bacon. This is Australian bacon, or Australia Casino. Probably not even Australian bacon, as many people would tell me. Anyhow, let's let my Tocino cook away. Just gonna spoon some of this beautiful juice. I love the colour of this juice, and it's actually quite sweet from the sugar, the honey, and the apple juice. So I'll just take a little bit more of the curing thing. Another couple of spoonfuls in there. Okay, I'm going to let that cook away. I will turn over the other side, and by the time I come back, that should be ready for cooking the other side, and it will also be ready for us to see the second half of how this looks, and then for me to tell you how it tastes, which is even better. Alright, so push this plate, pause the video. I will be back in probably only a couple of minutes. Okay, so I've turned this over. It's almost ready to be served. You can hear it cooking away there. I'm just gonna let it boil off, caramelize the last of the juices. As you can see it and hear, the honey, the sugar, the soy sauce, the apple juice, and the water's all boiling off now. Starting to caramelize over the outer of the Tocino, and I can smell that. It smells so sweet already. It's making me hungry cooking it. So I'm looking forward to eating it. It's been sitting in the fridge for a few days, waiting. But now we finally get to see the fruits of the labour. All right. I think that's probably okay to go. So, my Tocino, I'm going to take my brown Tocino. Normally what I would be pulling out now would be a dark reddish colour. it's not. It's got the soya sauce and the brown sugar colour to it. You can see my plating skills are not exactly the best. Turn off that hot plate now. All right. Yeah. Okay. I'll leave that actually. Pour that over the top. Why not? Yeah. Really give my arteries a hard time. Cover them a little bit with sugar. Alright, so the next to go is a little bit of rice over here. That's my Tocino, a little bit of rice. And that's what's cooking, mate. There you go, Australian Tocino. Alright, so here it is, plated up with some rice. Those that know me know that I'm not a big fan of rice anyhow, but nice bit of rice here with some pork bacon or pork Tocino, Philippine style or Australian Philippine style. Very sweet, delicious. Right, okay, Australian Tocino. Enjoy.